Welcome to this explainer. Listen, whether you're an ambitious student stepping into a crazy new role or a seasoned executive deep in the trenches, consider this our one-on-one strategy session. We're unpacking your corporate survival toolkit today. And right off the bat, we've got to face a tough reality. The hustle that got you straight A's or that sheer grind that landed your first promotion, yeah, those aren't the systems that will keep you from burning out at a Fortune 500 company. We're going to look at some incredibly simple, everyday habits, and you'll see how they're actually the strategic foundations you absolutely need to thrive under high stress.
Okay, let's dive into this. Does this scenario sound painfully familiar? You're feeling completely crushed by a tidal wave of emails, back-to-back meetings, and this endless, draining decision fatigue. Trust me, you are absolutely not alone. Think about that very specific feeling of just staring blankly into your open fridge at 8 o'clock at night. You've made 100 choices today, and your brain literally cannot make one more. That is decision fatigue in action. The reality of these high-stress roles is they demand sustainable performance, not just hard work. You can't just power through forever. You need reliable systems to carry you when motivation inevitably hits a wall.
So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll be covering reclaiming your digital focus, clearing daily mental clutter, building real career momentum, preserving energy by saying no, and finally, mastering the evening reset.
All right, let's kick things off with pillar number 1, reclaiming your digital focus. It's time to starve the distractions.
Every single day, so many corporate professionals unknowingly let their attention get sold to the highest bidder. It's crazy. But here's your ruthless digital decluttering checklist to put a stop to that. Look, your phone probably has dozens of apps you haven't opened in months, right? And your desktop? Well, it's likely a graveyard of random files you swore you'd organize later. Imagine the sheer panic of sharing your screen during a massive Zoom meeting and everyone sees 50 unread notifications and total desktop chaos. It's stressful. Digital clutter is real clutter. It's just invisible. But your brain still has to process the whole shebang, and that drains your cognitive RAM. So, delete the apps you haven't used in 30 days. Turn off those screaming, non-essential notifications. Unsubscribe from spam you never read. And spend just 10 minutes a day clearing out your inbox and desktop. Doing this literally lowers your heart rate. Less digital mess equals sharper focus, better creativity, and a much, much calmer mind.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the core philosophy behind it. Every single notification buzzing in your pocket, that is someone else's priority interrupting yours, period. When you let your phone act like a slot machine, pulling the lever every time you swipe down to refresh, you're just constantly reacting instead of leading. It traps you in this exhausting state of high alert. But if you clean up your digital environment and take back control of how you consume information, I promise you, you'll immediately breathe easier and be able to do much deeper work.
Moving right along to pillar number 2, clearing daily mental clutter. We're going to talk about debugging your brain.
Okay, have you ever noticed this? You nail a massive quarterly presentation. You're getting high fives from 10 different colleagues, but the client makes one tiny comment about a typo on slide 4, and that is literally the only thing you're thinking about at 2 in the morning. That right there is your negativity bias at work. Now, it's a fantastic evolutionary tool if you're trying to dodge predators in the wild, but in the corporate world, it just makes you miserable and exhausted. To rewire this, you absolutely need a daily gratitude practice. I know, it sounds a bit cliche, but taking just 2 minutes to write down 3 good things intentionally forces your brain to notice what's actually working. You're physically training your brain to scan the world for positives. That builds massive emotional resilience and stops that exhausting downward spiral dead in its tracks.
Alongside gratitude, you need to reflect. Think of this as a highly actionable daily framework. 3 questions, 5 minutes. What went well today? What didn't? And what am I learning? Listen, as a busy executive, this isn't about writing some long poetic diary entry. No way. It's a rapid-fire debrief. For example, what went well? I nailed the morning pitch. What didn't? I got impatient and talked over Sarah in the afternoon meeting. What am I learning? I need to pause for 2 seconds before answering questions under pressure. See? We are debugging your brain here. Just like a software engineer checks code for errors so the system doesn't crash, you need to process your emotions and spot your behavioral triggers before you explode under the stress of a deadline.
And this brilliantly illustrates another huge source of invisible mental clutter, your finances. Let's be real, when you're stressed and operating on fumes, you bleed money. You might easily drop $200 a month on takeout you don't even really want just because it's easy and you're too exhausted to cook. Or maybe you've got $50 slowly draining away in forgotten subscriptions or $100 on impulse buys that just sit in a drawer. If you track your spending for just 30 days, you bring awareness to these financial leaks. You don't need a super complex, restrictive budget, you just need to measure it. Plugging these leaks massively reduces your baseline anxiety. Knowing exactly where your money is going gives you this profound sense of control, which means you've got one less crisis to manage during your workday.
That brings us to pillar number 3, building real career momentum. Let's talk about escaping the content trap. I see so many incredibly ambitious people fall into this exact trap. They collect skills, productivity hacks, and random tutorials like their Pokemon cards, but they never actually implement a single thing. Passive learning is basically watching 47 random YouTube videos over the weekend with 0 notes and absolutely no accountability. Sure, 6 months later, you've learned some fun trivia, but you haven't actually moved the needle on your career. If you want a real strategic advantage, you need structured courses. Pick something specific that you will actually use on Monday morning. Structured learning from credible institutions, like, say, an AI course on Coursera, gives you a clear roadmap. You learn how to actually automate the boring parts of your job, like data entry or drafting routine emails. Finishing one highly targeted structured course is a real game changer. It builds far more leverage and real momentum than those endless internet binges ever could.
Next up is pillar number 4, preserving energy by saying no. It's all about guarding your time.
No is a complete sentence. Honestly, this is arguably the hardest habit for ambitious people to master. We all suffer from extreme FOMO, that fear of missing out on opportunities. But here's the truth. If you want to survive at the top, you have to set firm boundaries. People pleasers inevitably burn out, while boundary setters thrive. When you say yes to every single favor, every unnecessary brainstorming meeting, and every extra project that isn't even yours, you spread yourself so thin that you show up half-hearted and exhausted to all of them. Saying no to the unimportant stuff actually makes space for the deep, strategic work that changes your career trajectory. You've got to protect your time like it's money, because your mental energy, that is literally your single most valuable asset. And finally, pillar number 5, mastering the evening reset. This is how you beat tomorrow's chaos today.
So the crucial point is understanding decision fatigue. That is the ultimate key to mastering your mornings. After a 10-hour day of solving complex corporate problems, your decision-making quality absolutely plummets. There's a reason successful leaders like Steve Jobs famously wore the exact same outfit every single day. They were actively eliminating trivial choices to save their mental bandwidth for the things that actually mattered. Most people wake up, sit with their coffee, and spend their absolute best, highest energy hour just trying to figure out what they're supposed to do that day. Forcing your slow morning brain to prioritize and organize your day on the fly is a massive strategic error. Instead, you need what I call the planning tomorrow today routine. It takes exactly 3 minutes at night. Step 1, write down your top 3 priorities. And why only 3? Because if you have 10 priorities, you actually have 0. Limiting it to 3 prevents that horrible, overwhelming to-do list panic. Step 2, schedule blocks of time for them on your calendar. Step 3, map out the rest of the day before it even starts. By doing this the night before, you completely eliminate that morning hesitation and confusion. You wake up with immediate clarity and direction. You already know what matters, so you just get up and execute. Finally, you've got to pair that planning with a physical reset. Stretching for just 5 minutes before bed undoes the physical damage of being a desk ornament for 8 hours. Making your bed the moment you wake up, that gives your brain an immediate psychological win. Task started, task finished. Keeping a water bottle nearby is also absolutely critical. So many busy professionals mistake dehydration for stress or brain fog. But the absolute foundation of all of this, the whole entire thing, is a consistent sleep schedule. You cannot hack your way around biology. Going to bed at the same time every night anchors your circadian rhythm. As a productivity coach, I tell my clients this constantly. Sacrificing sleep to do more work is a false economy. It will ultimately destroy your career momentum. If your sleep is broken, every single other habit we've talked about becomes 10 times harder.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, and I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Which invisible leak, digital, mental, or financial, will you plug tonight to reclaim your momentum tomorrow? You've got the toolkit now. The difference between the professionals who burn out and the ones who rise to the very top is execution. Step into your power, pick just one of these systems, and take immediate action tonight. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you